And we are live. Welcome to the process. It is Wednesday, December 13th. I am Josh Engleman here to break down a 9-game NBA slate. After taking the past 2 days off, we are back and we are here to break down some NBA. It's kind of weird. So, because of the way the schedule broke, I feel disconnected from the NBA, but there was only one game on Saturday and no games on Sunday. And I played last night's slate, even though that I didn't do any content or anything. So I really just missed the monster slate on Monday. So I'm not as disconnected as it seems. I was breaking down a team last night. I was like, oh, they haven't played since the last time I broke down any content. So we are back here to have a little bit of fun, at least for the rest of this week. I hope that is the plan. That is the plan, at least. Might as well talk about it. So, for those of you that watched the process last year, or watched any of my content last year, you'll know that around this time, we ended up taking a couple weeks off. Life was not awesome. My parents had been living with us for 2 months, and then my mom passed. Well, we're running that one back for the holiday season once again. A sequel I didn't realize we were going to be making anytime soon, but here we are. My dad's health has turned the corner. Not very good. Turn the corner, I guess, is probably not the correct phrasing, but it turned the corner bad, not turn the corner good. And I think we're going to be getting that same sort of output again in the near future. So as crazy as this sounds, this coming Sunday will be a year for my mom. And we're probably looking at something very similar for Pops. So I was back up there. We moved him to a rehab facility on Friday. So I went up on Saturday until yesterday. But it's going to be sooner rather than later. My expectation is sometime in December. It could be, tomorrow. It could be really any sort of day moving forward. So at that point, there will be another mild hiatus for the process. Appreciate you guys. Thank you. I know, look, I know I got to talk about it to you guys because you guys are the ones that are here every day to watch this one in the morning. And there's going to come a time in the next couple weeks where process goes away for a bit. So as of early last week, he stopped doing any treatments for any of the ailments that he has. So oddly enough, so he had been living with us this year from about, so we'll just go full story. Be quick. They were here for probably like 2 months at the end of last year, from October to just before December. My dad ended up going back to Pennsylvania right before the turn of the new year. Which he shouldn't have done. He wasn't really healthy enough to do that, but he did. I wanted to give him that shot. Eventually got sick again, ended up in the hospital. So we moved him down here with myself and my wife for 7 months. So he was here from April until basically just before this NBA season started. So like second week of October or so. Took him back up to PA, which again, I didn't want to do, but I do want him to have his freedoms, but he was not in great health. Cancer, which was being treated, and oddly enough is okay. Whatever treatment that he was doing this most recent time, this is the third round of it in the past 5 years. Whatever treatment he was doing this time actually worked and removed the mass. So that was going well. But old Pops had a kidney transplant in 1996 and got a kidney from his sister. So for anyone familiar with organ transplants, 1996 is a very long time ago in 2023 land for everything that he has gone through for that transplant. They had to take both out and put one in. So he only has one. And that the health of his kidney has gone down significantly over recent years and very significantly over the past 2 years, to the point where the kidney that he has left now barely works, very barely works. He had to get a nephrostomy tube through the stomach into the kidney, which also helps, connected to a bag. That's not really doing anything at this point either. So we're really just at the mercy of when the kidney just taps out. At some point in time, it'll just stop working and your body will stop processing anything via the kidney. You'll basically just poison yourself. He is not going to go through any treatment for that. We've already stopped all of it, all of his medication for it in terms of anti-rejection, cancer treatment. All that stuff's gone. So it's now basically just comfort, pain management, that kind of thing. But when I saw him, didn't look great. Mind is going, having a lot of short-term memory loss, confusion type stuff. So I'm expecting something in the next 2 weeks. He's a strong cat, so I wouldn't be surprised if he hung on there as long as he could, but it doesn't seem great. So it looks like the end of this year is going to look a lot like the end of last year. This one hits me a little different. Love both my parents to death. Amazing relationship with both of them. Only child. They were awesome. Every sporting event, everything. I couldn't ask for a better set, that's for sure. But for my mom, it came out of nowhere, really. She got diagnosed basically a year to the day before she passed. But it was bang. Pancreatic cancer. Found out about it. Treatment for a couple months. Realized nothing was going anywhere. And it was just kind of done. For Dad, I assumed he would have died 100 times since he got this kidney transplant. I mean, he has been constantly, and I mean constantly, in the hospital for my entire life. He's never known anything other than to work hard, so he would work his ass off, and he'd dehydrate himself and get run down. And because he only had one kidney, he would end up getting sick, and he'd end up in the hospital for like a week. It's all I've ever known. From the time, he had this transplant in 96, I was 11, I guess, something like that. So like once a year, twice a year, he'd end up in the hospital for like a week, run down, and get back to work. Forever. So like I've been used to it. When he got cancer, I was just like, okay, that combination of two things that's going to be the end. No, beat that the first time. Broke his leg in like pretty horrific fashion right after getting the first treatment of cancer. 3 places, tibia, fibula, twisted his ankle. Fine. Comes back from that one. Basically, once COVID started, that was really when it dialed up for him. Cancer came back for the second round, and that really kicked his ass. And then he got COVID. Like during treatment, right when my mom started treatment, I was just like, okay, he's tapping out to this one. Like, no chance the decreased immune system, cancer, kidney disease is going to beat COVID. Beats COVID. Never really came back from that one, though. It's been a journey of sickness, regular hospital visits, and just like decreased everything. This is a man. Ooh, I'm a little blurry. That's a man that's 6'3", 220, 230 my entire life. He's like 150 pounds now, just a completely different human being. But we're finally at that point now where I think the tap out is going to be imminent. So whenever we kind of get that word, we're going to switch to hospice care. And then whenever that happens, I'm going to be gone for a bit, which honestly, like, I don't want to be. My grieving process would be a lot better if I just got to dive into basketball and just be here talking to you guys. I've been grieving this one for a while. But the logistics of all of it is going to be the time issue. It's, getting rid of their house, getting rid of the car, cleaning out everything that's inside of the house, organizing all of the logistics behind it is going to be the time that I need. And then by the time I start that, I'm not going to want to come back. So it's going to end up being like that. So that's where we're at. That's where I was gone for the past couple days. I am back today. We drove home yesterday. So I played last night's slate. But that's where we're at. And I appreciate you guys being here. I appreciate you listening to me pour it out this morning. But you guys are here every morning. You're going to, I wouldn't be able to do this and then just ghost you guys and just be like, see you guys in a month, sight unseen. We got to talk about these kind of things. Everybody's going through something. This whole chat is probably, you guys are being fantastic. And it means a hell of a lot to see it. Everybody's got their stuff going on across the world. So I don't take that lightly. But I know that you guys, I wanted to let you guys know that, we're going to be taking a break from this bad boy for a bit. But good old Smoke is my dad goes by Smokey. This is going to be the end of it. It's going to be the end of it. Wild. And this is the first time, I've always thought it was going, but now, knowing just that we're stopping everything, he's been calling me a lot. He hates calling me, just hates it. Always thinks he's a burden, always thinks he's bothering me, never wants to pick up the phone. Now it's the exact opposite. I think he calls and then an hour later forgets that he did it and then calls it back. So, but that's where we're at for right now. That is why I've been gone the past, technically 4 days. We left Saturday morning, but from content standpoint, 2 days. So it's my expectation is that it happens. My expectation is that it happens suddenly. So I'm guessing we'll just be scheduled for the process moving forward. And then one day you're going to check my Twitter and it's going to say that I'm gone. Kind of like it was this weekend. If not, if we see this one coming, then I'll just be able to let you guys know one day, hey, I'm going back up there. We start now, but I'll keep you posted on all of that. So here we are, ready to talk some basketball now. The sad stuff is over, guys. It's all right. I'm good. I'm okay with this one. This one hits me a little bit different. I've made my peace with this one. Not that I'm not, not that it's not killing me inside, but I've processed this one a lot over the past probably year and a half. So, honestly, I kind of just want it to happen today, because he's living a life that sucks. It really does. It's just a torturous life right now. So, anyway, that's where we're at. Let's talk some basketball. Great slate, 9 games. We got a mega 888 tonight, so 250K up top. But we got to break it down one way or the other. We're not going anywhere until we're going somewhere. So let's talk some basketball. Thank you to everybody in chat. It would take me forever to hit all the kind words that you guys just dropped in here. So to everybody, every single person that's in here right now, thank you very much. Hit that like button. Now I'm going to start begging for the things I need. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you know when everything goes live. Follow me on Twitter at Josh Engleman. That is going to be key if you want to know when I'm bouncing and when I'm coming back and all of that good stuff. You're going to get that from my Twitter. So do that. And now, something that I've been waiting for a couple days. It's rise and grind time, everybody. That is what we're doing here on this lovely Wednesday, December 13th. I cheers to you guys. Thank you. Cheers to Pops. Clink. Let's rise and let's grind. Perfect. 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 Bushy McBush, best of luck to you and your dad there. Not fun. It's not fun. All right. We got the emotions out of the way. Let's get into what we're here for. That's to talk some basketball. Let's make that screen a little bit bigger. That should be good. So here we go. Philadelphia 76ers. Feels real weird to start talking about basketball after that opening, but we got to get into it. That's how this works. Okay, Philadelphia 76ers, 12-point favorites against the Detroit Pistons, 235 total. First and foremost, let's lead off with this. The Indiana Pacers take on the Milwaukee Bucks tonight, and the total is 259. That's going to be a fun one to look at. But for now, Philly gets to take on this garbage Pistons team. I wonder if teams get nervous right now facing the Pistons, thinking, I don't want to be the team that finally loses to the Pistons. But for now, easy thing to break down for Philly. Everybody that's normally available is on the Pistons side. Bagley out, Duren out, Monty Morris out, Stanley Moody with the G League team. So we do have quite a bit to break down here, at least on the Detroit side. The Philly side is going to be about as cut and dry as it gets. Oh, no. Huh. So we started off today with the sad story. Captain Holt of Brooklyn Nine-Nine fame passed away, and I didn't know that. I just got that text from my wife. That is incredibly sad. Huh. Oh, that is a bummer. I'm gonna have to watch some Brooklyn Nine-Nine tonight. Bing pot, Captain Holt. Bing pot. Give the triple damn on that one. Okay. Back to Philly. Let me get my minutes table up. That one just shook me. I did that whole thing, and I was going to be okay. Captain Holt's getting me. Oh. I hadn't seen it. Shame. Younger than my dad. All right. Here we go. Philly. Now, there's not a lot to really look into here for Philadelphia. We kind of know their rotation. They don't really mess around all that much. I don't really think that I'm going to make any changes. I've got all the starters right. It's a 9-game slate. Excuse me. So we kind of know what we need here. So I'm going to maintain the Philly rotation. We are going to need to dig into the Pistons. Wait, that makes... Oh, wait, am I? All right, so Bagley is out. Huh. I gotta look at something quickly. Very weird. Very weird. So did I? Apparently I didn't. No, apparently I did. Did I not refresh? One sec, folks. One sec. Noticed a little issue in my sheet. We'll get it corrected. Oh, I get it. Okay, now I understand what's going on. All right, we're back. God, sheet was messed up there for a second. Now we're back. Okay, so we're going to redo this entire Pistons rotation. They actually finally closed their last game the way that they should, which is great to see, finally. I didn't think they were going to be capable of doing that. But we got Asar Thompson back into the starting lineup. We got Beef Stew at the 5. Maybe all of these injuries are just going to help them get away from running out all of these awful dudes. So we got Beef Stew starting here. He played 33 minutes as the starter. It's about what he plays every other night anyway. So I'm going to get him in for 32. And then Beef Stew's backup was essentially Wiseman. They got a little creative with it. But it was 33 and a half minutes to Beef Stew, 12.9 to Wiseman. They went a minute and a half without a center. Which you can kind of handle. My guess is that the goal is going to be to split those dudes with everybody out. You then get Bojan Bogdanovic is just back playing huge minutes, went 34. That is the biggest minutes that he's played in the 4 games since he's been back. I think projecting him for like 33 makes some sense. Travis, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. Means a lot. Let's pop that bad boy up on the screen for everybody so they can see it. Shipped another 10K in the box out. Only made one lineup. It was a 30 max. Like everyone else, I lost to FJ Bourne. Yeah, I noticed that when I woke up too. Much love to you and your pops. Thanks from the whole process, family. Thank you, man. Thank you. And congratulations, for real. That's awesome. Another dub. Always good to see. I mostly broke even. I played 2 in the alley-oop. I got one to cash. Cashed one of my hockey lineups. So basically broke even there. Down a bit in the 150 max, but that's fine. So let's keep moving here. Cade can go in for 34, 35. We'll go 35. And then Hayes didn't close. They closed with Ivy over Hayes in both the second quarter and the fourth quarter. Interesting dueling rotation. Kind of like seeing that. 24 minutes, though, for Hayes feels a little bit lower than what you could realistically want to go to. Because he can close a little bit of both of those things. I think like 27 makes the most sense. And then we can fill in for the rest of these dudes after we get... Oh, no, I'm still missing Asar Thompson. So Asar Thompson came in, standard starting run, back to normal. Don't want to go too aggressive. I'm actually going to go... 31? I don't think they have a ton of other choices. So then first guy off the bench was either Livers or Ivy, however you want to look at it. Now, Ivy played 33 and a half. Hard to expect that. Feels like 27 apiece for Ivy and Hayes makes the most sense. And then we want to get Isaiah Livers, who played about 17 minutes. I think that makes some sense. You know, has been averaging around 20. That was with Bojan out. I think something like 16 will do. And that leaves Alec Burks back in the rotation, which he should have never left. And then I have 9 minutes left for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So they only went to a 9-man rotation and played Kevin Knox for a minute and a half. I don't have anybody to naturally give those 9 minutes to. It's certainly not Livers. But I can't go that big on the Pistons. So what I need to do is figure out where these final 9 minutes go. I guess I can get Livers up to 18. It's not going to matter. He's not that kind of guy. And then I know Kevin Knox got in, but I'm going to make the assumption that Joe Harris can hold those 7 minutes. Rates can all stay the same for me right now. So let's look at this first game, which I don't expect to look great. Perfect sizing there. All right, so for Philly, look, Embiid looks fine, obviously. He should have no problem with Beef Stew or Wiseman or whatever, but he's 11-8. So, we're going to be comparing him to the rest of the pay-ups. And if you're ever going to need a little bit less minutes for Embiid, today would be a great day for it. But by all means, 1.75 fantasy points per minute. After that, I don't expect to have much of Philly. It's a decent enough spot, clearly. Bad defense, fast enough pace, but it's a little too extreme, if you ask me. Pistons side, though, 5,900 for Asar Thompson looks good. If he's starting, playing 30, 31 minutes, something like that, he's a fantasy point per minute guy. Very active on the boards, and will be even more active now that they don't have the double big lineup. I don't mind Cade for 8,400. Isaiah Stewart, Jaden Ivey, both reasonable. Ivey being point guard only, really, that's really limiting. I would say Asar Thompson is the guy I like the most here from the Pistons. I might be a little too high on him, but he's a 0.96 guy over the past 30 days. It's not like it's crazy, and it's not a horrid spot for the Pistons. Game 1 in the books. Let's keep it moving. Man, my rhythm is so off. It's going to take a couple days to get back to this, but we might get back to it and then get right back out of it. So we go to the Pels. New Orleans Pelicans are 7.5-point favorites in Washington, 240 total. For this one, no Larry Nance, no Matt Ryan, who had surgery. Zion questionable, Cody Zeller available. So this is mostly the standard rotation. Although I do feel like I have too many dudes projected, but I don't know who the dude is. Who played backup center for the Pelicans in their most recent game? They beat Minnesota by 14. They just completely excised every other center, so it's just Zion straight at the backup 5. Alrighty, I'm going to re-project everybody that isn't real. So we got Joe Val in for 29, which I feel pretty good about. And then we're going to say that Zion plays the other 19. I mean, now Joe Val played 35 the last time out. Maybe you do end up getting that rotation out of Cody Zeller, but for right now, that's not how we're going to be projecting this one. We're going to get Zion to 32 minutes. We get Trey Murphy, who is coming off the bench and didn't totally... Well, closing is relative here. I think 26 for Trey Murphy makes the most sense. Man, this coffee is just hitting me every single spot possible. We got CJ in for 36. That's probably a little aggressive. We'll go to 34. We've got Herb, because I still have in-season tournament minutes in for these guys, so it's important to re-project them. We're going to get Herb Jones down to 32. We'll get BI in for 35. And now we can fill out with the rest of these guys. So Najee Marshall was actually the second guy off the bench with Alvarado. They've gotten rid of... They've really changed this rotation up a bit. So we're going to give Alvarado those backup point guard minutes behind CJ. And then we just need to get Dyson Daniels, who played massive minutes in the second quarter and really scattered rotations after that, after having really weird rotations the previous 5 games. So let's get Dyson Daniels in for what? 20? 18? Let's go 18 for right now. And then we get Najee Marshall, who only played 14 minutes. We'll get him in for another 14. That does leave me 6. I'm going to dump those 6 onto Cody Zeller, actually. Wouldn't be surprised if he still sees a rotation. Then we go to the Washington end. For the Wizards, Johnny Davis out. Gafford questionable. Omer Yuri out. No Shamet, no DeLon Wright. So kind of the same thing that we've gotten out of these guys for a while. I got 33 for Kuz. Gonna leave it. They're at home. 31 for Poole. Looks fine. 29 for Tyus. That's gonna become 28. I'm just gonna redo it. It's so much. When I come back from this stuff, it's just so much easier to redo these things. So we go 28 to Tyus. We'll get Jordan Poole in there for the other 20 plus another 11. Daniel Gafford can go in for his 26. We'll get Danilo Gallinari in for his 16. Kuz up to 32. We get Denny out there for 27, 28. 28 probably makes the most sense. And we get Bilal Coulibaly out there for 27, 28. Yeah, 28 will work. The rest of this ends up being pretty easy to break down. We'll get Jared Butler in. Actually, let's get Kispert first. Or no, we'll work our way back from 5 to 4. Muscala playing a little bit more these past couple days. That was with Gafford out, but played before that. Who was Washington's game on the 8th? Why did Muscala play? Now, they got beat by 30, but did Muscala play early? He did. All right, so let's get Muscala in for, let's say, 12 minutes. And then I can move some of those Denny minutes down. We can get Kispert in for 23. That leaves me 16 minutes. Do I want to give those 16 minutes to Jared Butler? No, I really don't, but I will. Shouldn't matter. That'll be Washington. Rates can stay. No, Kobe, the game before that one, Muscala played 15. I didn't know if that was like some sort of stupid blowout run. It was just a standard rotation. He just played. It had nothing to do with anything. Sorry if I was vague. So for the Pels, lots to like here for New Orleans, and that should be no surprise. We know what we're getting out of facing Washington. Number 28 ranked defense, number 2 in pace. We're just jamming Pelicans here, and we should. I love Brandon Ingram, 7,800 shooting guard, small forward. Going to be one of my favorite plays today. I like CJ at 7,400. I like Jovel at 6,700. Herb Jones at 55. $7,900 power forward center Zion is probably my favorite option from the Pels. Love New Orleans. How much do I have them over projected? That's the question. I'm going to take a quick I'm going to take a quick peek, which is a queek, just in case anybody is curious, at the points props for the Pels, just to check and see if I'm calibrated correctly. I've got Brandon Ingram at 24.1. His prop is 24.5, juice to the under. Zion is at 24.5, basically neutral. I got it at 25.8, so I may be a point high, but I'm okay with that. Any point or two in either direction, I'm going to be totally fine with. And yeah, Chris Raptor says it. Zion is questionable, but if he's in, I want to get there. If he's not, I want to play even more of Brandon Ingram, CJ McCollum. You know, we'll be getting to Trey Murphy, then Jovel. Like, either way, we're liking these guys a lot. No, I didn't hear anything from Stephen A. I never hear anything from Stephen A. So it would really take something wild for him to come across my timeline. On the Wizards side, these guys don't look too bad either. You know, it's not like the Pelicans gained 4 possessions from facing Washington, which, just so people understand, if we want to say, let's see, I'm going to count everybody that is like sort of played in the last 30 days. Wait, there should be blanks in that. Oh no, I want to get rid of zeros. That'll work. If I get rid of the zeros, average points per possession is about 0.44. So if you get 4 bonus possessions, that's one. If you're an average fantasy point performer, just facing the Wizards today as the Pelicans, every player is basically getting like a bonus 1.7 points to their projection or more. That's what pace does. To be fair, I'm a site at an all-you-can-eat buffet too. I like Tyus Jones for 5,400. I don't mind Kuzma or Jordan Poole or Daniel Gafford. These guys look okay. Surprise of all surprise. The game with the 240 second highest total on the slate has a lot of really quality fantasy options today. Don't be afraid to do it. Let's go to game 3. Charlotte Hornets 8-point dogs in Miami, 224 total. I'm going to go out on a limb and say this one is probably less interesting than the previous game. Where do we need to be? Oh yeah, Charlotte Hornets injury report. See, my brain is just not firing the way that I need it. Obviously, no LaMelo. No Nick Smith, just in case. Mark Williams, doubtful. So we are pulling this rotation, and we're going to start talking about the Nick Richards / PJ Washington relationship. Mark Williams has missed, well, he only missed 2 games. Okay, so he's missed 2 out of the last 3. But let's get everybody else in first. Terry Rozier, straight in, 38 minutes. I would like to pull up this most recent game log as well, which is from the 11th. By the way, we're going way long today, so just buckle up for it. What team am I looking for? Charlotte. Oh, okay, so this is the same matchup they just had against Miami. That's helpful. God, I love this coffee so much. Where we did get Nick Richards starting, and then we got a different closing lineup. So we'll dig into that in a second. So we get Terry Rozier in for his big minutes. That part is easy. Next, we want to go to, so we assume it's going to be Miller, Hayward, Bridges, Richards. So we get Brandon Miller in for his 34. Yeah. And then we get Miles. Let's get Hayward. We'll get Miles Bridges in for his 36. Yeah, if I'm willing to round up there, I got to round up to everybody. So that's going to be 35. That's going to be Bridges for 37. And that's going to be Hayward for 33. Now, so Richards came out. It's weird that Bridges wasn't in the game yet, but it doesn't really matter. They used PJ Washington to close. PJ Washington played the final 20 minutes of that game. Craziness. I mean, 26 makes a lot of sense for Nick Richards. I don't really have a lot of deviation there. In theory, he could close, but he got 26. There is upside there for a closing lineup rotation. PJ Washington was the straight backup and then some. So we'll give PJ Washington those 22 minutes. Best he could really do is go to 30. Ish Smith is just going to get backup point guard plus run, something like that. Put him in for 16 minutes. And then Bryce McGowan's played 22. We don't need to go that aggressive. I think we could probably go into that 18 range, 16 range, 18 range, and then get a rotation to JT Thor. And I don't have to move any rates around or anything like that. We're good on there for Charlotte. We go to the Miami side. I believe Tyler Hero is back. Am I right about that? Nope, still out. I heard murmurings that he was going to be coming back shortly. So no Bam, no Hero, no Highsmith, Jovic with the G League team, Martin available, Robinson available. So this is actually the same rotation that I can remember. And I assume, with Bam out. So we've had 4 straight games now with Bam out, and they are running a very tight 8-man rotation. So I think we can be very confident with the minutes that we project for Miami right now. I gave Orlando Robinson 30 a couple nights ago. That has not come to fruition. If we look at Orlando Robinson here, he had 5 fouls, but he didn't close. They closed with Kevin Love. They also went to a non-either one of those two guys center lineup, which would have been during the middle of the second quarter. Oh, they gave Thomas Bryant 4 minutes. Okay. So I think we can bring Orlando Robinson down to like 27. And I think that we can give Kevin Love 20. 19. 19 is probably the easier thing to do. Because then I'm going to hide those final 2 minutes on Thomas Bryant, at least for right now. Caleb Martin has played massive minutes. I think we're going to 34 there on Martin. We've got 31 in for Jaime Jaquez. That's probably a little heavy, although it shouldn't be. That's going to be fine. Jimmy in for 35 feels spot on. 31 for Duncan Robinson feels about right to me. 28 for Josh Richardson feels about right to me. 29 for Kyle Lowry does feel a hair light. Let's get him up to 31. And then I'm going to throw just another 2 minutes of placeholder on Thomas Bryant. I'm going to sneeze. Almost didn't get that one out of there. Frank, thank you. Appreciate that. Well, that was a powerful sneeze. Whew. Whew, whew. All right, rates don't have to change. These are all set from the previous matchup, so we can actually evaluate this one. Charlotte Hornets. Kind of like all of the starters look okay, plus PJ Washington. I think I like, oh God, I don't want to like Rozier the most, but I think I like Rozier the most. 38 minutes is 38 minutes. But Rozier, Washington, Richards, Bridges, Brandon Miller, all very solid options. Lots of really good plays so far today. On the Miami side, love Butler. I thought Charlotte played a little bit faster, but I've got the middle of the pack right now. But 8,800 small forward, power forward for Jimmy Butler with... I got to check the props because I'm so far off. What is Jimmy Butler's points prop today? If it's anywhere around 27, then I feel very good about what I'm saying. 24.5 juice to the over. I'm going to take a half usage peg off of there, but still... I like Butler today against Charlotte. That shouldn't be all that surprising. Although they do have the... He is uniquely set up to like not be as good against them. Whether you're running out... You know, you've got long wing in Brandon Miller, long wing in Bridges. Gordon Hayward isn't going to scoff at a Jimmy Butler matchup or anything like that. So they do have those kind of bodies. But it's hard to not like Jimmy Butler here in a matchup against Charlotte. Charlotte, by the way, dead last in defensive rating. All right, Atlanta Hawks, 2-point underdogs in Toronto, 239 total. This one's a little bit different that we have to reproject because the last time that I did this, Trae Young was out. So kind of changes up what we're doing here. Now, for Atlanta, DeAndre Hunter is questionable. Trae Young is probable. Jalen Johnson still out. On the Toronto side, Q tag on Chris Boucher, Q tag on Otto Porter. So this one's actually going to be pretty easy. We get Trae Young straight away in for his 35. We get DeJounte Murray straight away in for his 35 as well. Capella and Okongwu continuing to play a boatload of minutes alongside of each other. They played 8 minutes alongside of each other in their most recent game. They split the 48 in the game that Trae Young was out, but that is a very, very different contest. I think assuming something in that like 4 to 6 range is probably good. So if we get Clint Capella out there for 27, I think we can then get... So Capella, since Jalen Johnson has been out, has averaged 26 minutes, but it was a little lighter earlier than that. It's 25 to Okongwu, which I think also works. So that puts us 4 minutes over the mark. I kind of like that. We then get Saddiq Bey, who's just playing really big minutes. I think he's going straight in for 36. He's played 40, but that was without Hunter. He played 38. That was without Trae. But I think 36 in the previous 2 games. I don't know how you don't project him for 35 at a minimum. Now we can go to DeAndre Hunter, whose injury is right knee soreness. Did play a lot of minutes for those previous couple games, but hasn't played since the 8th. That should be enough time off for him. I think like 33 or 34 is probably going to be our best bet. Then we can get Bogdanovich in for 29. Yeah, that makes some sense. We get Wes Matthews. He just doesn't really change at all. He's just going to play like 13 minutes. And then we can hide this final 8 on Garrison Matthews. I'm going to check the quick Atlanta points props just to see if I need to adjust any usage rates. We have Trae Young projected 28.5 to the under. I have 25.8, which means we need to give a bit of a bump in usage to Trae Young. That gets him up to 27. That'll be fine. DeJounte is at 9.5, slightly to the over. That'll work. Bey, 15.5. I have it on the dot. The line is 15.5. I got him at 15.5. That will work. Capella's at around 12. That looks good. I think we've got the rates that we're looking for here for Atlanta. Next up, Toronto, which I don't think we're going to really have to change all that much. But we're going from scratch because it's easier. So we get Schroeder. I'm going 32. 33. Competitive game, 33. We get my boy OG Anunoby out there for 34. No. 35. Competitive game. Got to remember that. Scotty Barnes is going in for 35. $36. Siakam is going in for 35. That one's staying at 35. And then we get Jake Puddle in for 26, 27. 27. We get Precious Achiuwa splitting those minutes. We'll go to 20. We get Gary Trent in for 23. We get Malachi Flynn in as the backup point guard. That leaves me 16 minutes for, I guess, Chris Boucher. But we're going to hide 2 on Dick. Pretty easy game to project. We look at Atlanta. Like I said, 2-point dogs, 239 total. Capella and Okongwu, you could flip between the two, whichever one you like. I probably like Okongwu more. They're basically the same play relative to salary, but I'd rather just save the salary. Sadiq Bey, 6,100. Like I said, he's going to play 35, 36 minutes. I like it. Trae Young is 9,900. It's not the best price in the world, but it's not problematic. Nothing major from Atlanta. Lots of major here from Toronto, which shouldn't be all that surprising. Atlanta is 23rd in defensive rating, 3rd in pace. So Toronto is gaining 2.7 possessions. I just explained what that is. They're gaining, everybody gets a point basically, and you get a better defensive environment. And these prices are all down. 6K for Dennis Schroeder. I like it a lot. 5,500 for Jakob Poeltl. I like it a lot. 5,800 for OG Anunoby. I like it a lot. Am I better off flipping that? I'm starting to feel like I am. Let's do that, actually. Let's go. OG Anunoby. And then Anunoby, OG Anunoby. Done. Yeah, like, look, Anunoby looks phenomenal at 5,800. He's 0.91 fantasy points per minute over the last 30 days, and he's in a better matchup. Pascal Siakam, 8,100, looks great. Even Scotty Barnes looks really good today, too, to me. Toronto is the best thing we've seen. Toronto looks better than the Pelicans to me. I'm really interested to talk to Adam about this in a couple hours. Love Toronto in this matchup. Can't imagine this one's going to be the same, though. Memphis Grizzlies, 7.5 point underdogs in Houston. 213 total. Just to be clear here, the game after this one, 259 total. This total is 46 points lower. That's a different game. I don't know how you get anybody from Memphis, Houston without a legitimate mistake in pricing. As we look at Memphis, no Adams, no Clark, no Jackson, no Kennard, no Morant, no Smart. It should be pretty easy. Who started the most recent game for the Grizzlies? That game happened on the 11th. That game was a 7-point loss to the Dallas Mavericks. We got Derrick Rose playing Derrick Rosey type minutes. We get Desmond Bane straight away in for 35. We get Big Body Roddy in for 26. We'll go 27. We get Santi Aldama in for, god damn, these guys are just playing really dumb minutes. 28. We get Jaren Jackson Jr. in for 32. We get Bismack Biyombo, who's now coming off the bench, played 12 minutes. I think that probably increases slightly, although I don't know what his status is going to be once Morant gets back. They're going to have to cut somebody. So we'll go 14 to Biyombo. We did get brief minutes out of Tillman. Vince Williams playing a bunch. Now, he played a bunch in blowout run, but still. We get Vince Williams coming off the bench, playing 20. Jalen Noel played 8 minutes in the first half. Didn't go to him in the second half. They went to more Zaire Williams. Sure. Let's at least call it 14. I guess we get Tillman a rotation at center too. I don't know what these dudes are doing, but it's annoying. That much I could tell you. Let's get Zaire out there for 14. Who am I missing now? Conchar. Yeah, this is This is a dreadful, dreadful team to project. Truly gross. Truly gross. This game is going to be awful. I will be shocked if we like anything here. Absolutely shocked. Because we're talking about like 60 fantasy points off the pace of Indy and Milwaukee. I don't know how you make that up. These guys are close to unplayable. Now, Houston did get Amin Thompson back this most recent game. That's exciting to see. He's been out for basically the entire season. They beat San Antonio by 9, 11, one of the two. My math is shit. So let's get the minutes in for Houston. We get Van Vliet in for 39. We get Jalen Green in for 31. We get Dylan Brooks in for 32. We get Jabari Smith in for 32. And we get Alperen Şengün in for 34. After that, we'll go ahead and pop Jeff Green in at backup center. We'll get Aaron Holiday in for 15. Toasted Biscuits, what's up? We're really not going to get too much here out of Amin Thompson. That much I'm pretty sure of. I'm going to give him 14 minutes. I'm going to get Tari Eason in for 20. That gives me 9 to Jayshawn Tate, which I can deal with. Rates can stay the same. What do we get from Memphis and Houston? Yeah, Memphis doesn't look good. You know, Roddy, Bane, Jackson, Aldama are the guys you can play. They all look bad. On the Houston side, look, $8,900 Şengün is still solid. This isn't the worst spot for Houston. I don't mind Şengün. I don't really mind a $4,800 Dylan Brooks. I do probably have him over projected a skosh. I don't mind Jabari Smith at 6,200 either. But again, none of these guys are Toronto. Now we're into the main event. Indy at Milwaukee, 259 total. This is going to be bonkers. And I don't know who's available for either one of these teams. So it could be even like extra special bonkers. Pacers, no Nembhard, no Jalen Smith. Okay. That's easy enough. But we do got to redo Indy for the main reason of I have their minutes in from the in-season tournament. Picked up the dub, put a pretty sizable bet down on the Lakers to win that night. Because I was in Pennsylvania, I was able to legally sports bet, picked up the Lakers win. They were never losing that game. Okay. So we're going to get 36 minutes to Halliburton. And just to be clear, who did Indy start? Oh, they haven't played. No, they did. Oh, okay. So they did play Monday. All right. They started everybody I would expect them to start. So Buddy Hield's going to go in at the 2 for 29 minutes, 30 minutes. Let's go 30 minutes. We get Bruce Brown, 32. Toppin basically got a Bogans, which is really tough to deal with. Let's get Miles Turner in for his 30. And we'll get Isaiah Jackson in for his 17. I guess, 22 for Toppin. It's a terrible spot for Toppin, that's for sure. How big was that rotation? If he goes 6, 12, 18. Look, yeah, 22 I feel pretty comfortable with. Well, maybe not comfortable, but I feel like that's what I need to do. Neesmith, I think 26 needs to be where we want to handle this. We're going to get McConnell in for backup point guard run. do they play alongside of each other? 48 straight minutes there. That's 52, but that's just very briefly alongside of each other, I guess. And then we're going to get Benedict Mathurin, who did close. They basically pop Mathurin in for the top-end spot and go Bruce Brown at the 4, which I think makes a lot of sense for this team. I don't want to go too aggressive on Mathurin's minutes. I think 28 is probably the best bet. That leaves me 5 spillovers that would have been Nemhard, but now just need to get soaked up by the random person. So Joyce Walker is going to get 5. Oh, man, this is going to be a bonkers set of projections. Milwaukee. I didn't look at the injury report. No Connaughton, no Crowder. Okay, so same rotation as it normally is. We got 34 minutes for Brook Lopez. Yes. 38 for Giannis. No, that's not happening in a regular game. I mean, he has been playing more, but a lot of that was in-season tournament stuff. I don't feel like I can go 37 to Giannis, but if I go 37 to Giannis, he's going to be the highest projected guy today by millions of miles. I'm afraid to go 37 to Giannis, but he's playing it right now. I got 35 into Beasley. I think that's okay. I have 28 on Middleton. I think that's okay. He played 33. Did that go to overtime, or is that just crazy starter minutes? Okay, it did go to OT. I'm taking Giannis down to 36. I can't do it. I'm going to leave 37 for Dame. And I'm going to go to 34 on Beasley. I like 20. Excuse me. I like 28 on Middleton. I have 18 on Beauchamp, which is probably too high. I'm going to take him down to 16. I can get Campaign bumped up to 16. And then we have AJ Green. I can get him to 14. And then I could hide 2 on Andre Jackson. Glenn, thank you. Appreciate that. AOD, love you too. All right, here we go. What does this game end up looking like? Pacers. Okay, Pacers aren't as crazy, but Milwaukee's defense is 18th. Now, this is the number 1 team in pace against the number 4 team in pace. The Pacers gain 2.5 possessions over their average. The Bucks gain 4.5, and they get to face the fastest team and the 29th ranked defense. Get yourself Buddy Hield if you want. Isaiah Jackson, if you want to roll those dice, probably not on a 9-gamer, but Turner for 7,300. And then we've got Tyrese Halliburton at 11,100. And I don't think that that's crazy. I got him projected for 27 real points. Let's see where that lines up. Am I light? 27.5 is the line. I got him for 11.3 assists. Is it more? It's 12.5 to the under, so I don't feel too bad about that one. Halliburton's just amazing. What does the Milwaukee side look like, though? Oh, my God. So, Giannis is far and away the number 1 play on today's slate. I don't know how you avoid getting to him as the preferred pay-up option. Giannis's points prop today is 34.5 real points juiced to the over. I got him at 34.5, and I think that makes a lot of sense. I got Dame at 31. His line is 26.5, so I'm going to have to go ahead and change something about Dame. But I think I'm going to have to project Dame wrong on purpose. In games that Dame and Giannis have both played, what is Dame's usage rate? They played 20 games. Usage rate is 27. I can bring it down another point. That gets me to 29.5. That's still 3 points clear. I'm not going to really mind that. I want all of the Giannis, but I still want Middleton, Lillard, Lopez, Portis to a degree. I got him in for 23 minutes. He looks fine. Amazing, amazing, amazing spot for Milwaukee. Get as much as you can of their main dudes. But Giannis is the best play today. Anybody that tells you any different, and I don't even need to look at these next 3 games. This is just by far the best option you can get to. Okay, Lakers 3-point favorites in San Antonio, 227 total. Lakers on the back-to-back. We had no Jared Vanderbilt last night. They didn't go to Christian Wood. They consolidated minutes and went to more Rui. We don't know what the status of any of these guys are going to be today. So what I'm actually going to do is give those 12 minutes back to Vandy and make a very small adjustment to some of these guys. I think I'm already good there. I don't want to go too crazy because we don't know what they're going to be doing. Now, it is a great spot for the Lakers against San Antonio. Pace up, bad defense. Now, San Antonio has been all over the map. That much I know. I need to see what they did the last time out. I know Bassi is done for the year, tore his ACL. Everybody else that's normally available is, but I need to look at that most recent San Antonio rotation and starters and stuff like that because I know they're being weird. Vassell, Johnson, Wemby, Branham, Sohan. This team is so stupid. Okay, so we're getting Wemby at the 5, 32 minutes. And then we know we're going to get Zach Collins as I'm just going to go 16 as a backup right away. I guess we get Malachi Branham 26. We get Devin Vassell. Minutes are back up now. We'll go 32. We'll get Keldon Johnson in for 34. And then we get Jeremy Sohan in for 33. Okay. I mean, they just did like full line changes. Trey Jones, backup point guard-ish. I don't know. 18 minutes? 20 minutes? 21 minutes? Not enough minutes? We know we're going to get McBuckets out there for, 14, 16, something like that. Chetty's going to play like 15. And then we're going to get a little bit of Champagne, maybe a little bit of Mamukelishvili. Give him 6. Throw 9 on Champagne. I mean, this team is just a joke. Lakers. It's LeBron and AD and nobody else. Easier to get to LeBron. I don't really see a scenario where you're playing anybody else here from the Lakers, though. Which is kind of surprising. For San Antonio? Okay. Definitely need to take a peek at those Jeremy Sohan minutes and knock them down a peg. But Jeremy Sohan, point guard, small forward, 5,400. I got to look at his props. I might have him wildly overprojected. Sohan doesn't have a points prop right now. That's not helpful. And I don't really think I'm projecting him in a negative way. I like Jeremy Sohan. I like Devin Vassell. And I like Victor Wembanyama. Wemby in particular, 8,800. Look, he's 1.5 fantasy points per minute. I'm in for that. 20 points prop looks good. I got Keldon Johnson at 17.5. I got Devin Vassell at 18.9. His line is 17.5 to the over. I think I got these guys projected well. San Antonio looks really good. And LA on the back-to-back. So we'll see what the Lakers end up looking like once we get their injury report later today. Let's go Brooklyn and Phoenix. I'm going to save this file too since I haven't done it in a bit. Nets, 4-point dogs in Phoenix, 228 total. Going to be hard to talk about Phoenix, especially because, Durant is supposed to play. I assume Beal doesn't play on the back-to-back. So this one's going to be a real mess that we can't talk about. For Brooklyn, still no Ben Simmons, no DSJ, no Lonnie Walker. So not a lot of changes here for their previous rotation. This is one I actually don't feel like I need to move stuff around for. We're going to take Royce O'Neal down a minute. We're going to take Dorian Finney-Smith down a minute. We're going to bump up Trendon Watford a notch. And that's basically just going to hold for me. On the Phoenix end, I don't feel comfortable projecting Bradley Beal to play a back-to-back. That seems insane. That seems totally insane. But I also have to get Kevin Durant back in there for 36 minutes. So those minutes have to come from somebody. So who's leaving the rotation? Feels like to me, Keita Bates-Diop is leaving the rotation. I thought he was going to start. Seems like they're going to go the other way and just simply not play him. Eric Gordon's minutes are going to have to come down quite a bit. Josh Okogie is not going to play today, right? He is uncertain. Yeah. So once we get him out of there, we can stick with around 20 minutes to Yuta Watanabe. Now we're going to start getting a lot more minutes for Chimezie Metu, I think. Or unless he's just the Durant dude. Let's get Metu out of there for now. That probably does unlock Keita Bates-Diop again. So let's get him in for 18. And then I can just hide 8 minutes on Chimezie Metu. Probably not going to enjoy what we're about to see. Don't really like anything from Brooklyn. Nick Claxton, 6,600 is the guy that you would want to go to. But everything else looks pretty bad here. Phoenix, 26th in pace. But if we look at Phoenix, also pretty bad. Now, this can be different. If Bradley Beal ends up out, we'll like Booker and Durant a little bit more. But these guys are already priced up. This is basically a non-playable game to me as of right now. We'll see what the Phoenix Suns injury report ends up looking like. Let's close this out. We really picked up the pace here. New York Knicks, 6.5-point favorites in Utah, 226 total. I assume this one looks like garbage too. Although I have not yet projected this team with no Mitchell Robinson. Sad to see that he got injured while I was gone. Q-tag on Quickly, no Robinson. On the Jazz side, no Clarkson. Collins questionable, Kessler questionable, Markkanen questionable. They're going to be a real treat. Knicks should be very easy to project here. Most of this was all just going to look like it normally does. Jalen Brunson, we're going straight away, 36 minutes. Last time the Knicks played was Monday. They beat Toronto by 6. We've got DiVincenzo starting but not closing. They closed with a decent chunk of Quentin Grimes. Jericho Sims is probably going to play like 22 minutes a night. And Hartenstein is going to play the other 26. I think that's going to be their goal. Maybe you want to go like 23, 25. I could go either direction there. They should really play a little bit more of Randall at the 5, but that's neither here nor there. 36 minutes in for Randall. We get RJ Barrett in for 31. And then we get Dante DiVincenzo in for 20. We get Quickly in for 22. We get Grimes in for 20. 27 for Josh Hart. Is that enough? No, it's not. We got to get him 2 more minutes from somewhere. But where do those minutes come from? I'll take 1 from RJ Barrett, and I'll get him to 28. That'll be the Knicks. Please tell me these Jazz guys have been back. No Markkanen, no Collins, no Kessler, their most recent game. They're all questionable now, which means we got to project all of them in. Woof. So let's get Walker Kessler in for 28. We're going to get John Collins in for 30. We're going to get Lauri Markkanen in for 33. We'll get Keontae George in for 31. And then everything else looks like shit. Right? So if we look at their rotation from the 8th, now that had Clarkson in it, which is Not ideal. But I think it's really the only way that we could look at these guys. We need to get Kelly Olynyk in for 18. I guess we're going to get Yurtsevin just already gone out of the rotation. That makes a ton of sense. THT, I'm guessing we get Agbaji playing like 24 minutes. We get Fontecchio playing a bunch. Colin Sexton's probably going to play his 21. THT is going to play his 21. Ooh. Not fun to project these idiots. Something like that, I think. Wait, did I delete 14 minutes from somebody somewhere? Who did I undercut? No, I'm right here. So who's going to be my last guy? I guess Chris Dunn. Let's get him 14. I mean, no, there's no chance any of this looks good. So I don't even know if it's going to matter. Knicks. All right, $8,600 Randall, but Randall's going to look a lot like Wemby and some other of the power forward centers that we saw earlier. Siakam, I guess, is in that same range. So ownership will be really interesting on that power forward center 8K range. Hartenstein's fine. Brunson's fine. Barrett's fine. But Randall's the best guy here. And then for Utah, you know, $6,200 Keontae George is okay. Walker Kessler is okay. It really just depends on who ends up in and out. There's 3 Q tags for main guys on Utah today. We'll figure out what's really happening for them once we understand that Q tag. But for now, guys, it is time to run some crunches. We made it. I didn't think we were going to make it to the end of this one, but we did. So let's get this shared to the screen. What did I just do? No, that needs to go there. This needs to go there. Now you guys can see it. Once again, guys, thank you for being here. I appreciate you putting up with me. And like I said, it's gonna get interesting over the next week or two. We'll figure it all out. But follow me on Twitter if you're looking for me, or you know, if you're not a Twitter person and you don't see the process for a day or two, you know why it happened. All right, optimal lineups on DraftKings. 273.4. So this is my optimal by 0.8. Schroeder, Anunoby, Dylan Brooks, Asar Thompson, Jakob Poeltl, Jeremy Sohan, Bobby Portis, and Giannis. Not in any way shocked by that. That makes that all looks really, really reasonable. I honestly expected Giannis to be in more of it just for how good he looked, and I felt like there was going to be enough value. I got Anunoby in everything. Sohan in 48, Schroeder in 47, Poeltl in 35. Those are out of 50, by the way. Dylan Brooks in 60%. Everybody else 50% or less. If we turn on randomness, we'll get a much better idea of what this looks like for today. Now, it is pretty flat at the top, but we do know who pulls away. Wow, where is... Oh, Giannis, way lower than I expected. Sohan, Anunoby, Schroeder, Vassell, Brooks, Poeltl, Jaquez, Portis, Middleton. I'm all right with it, though. Look, Dylan Brooks, 4,800. A 7x game out of Dylan Brooks is 33.5 fantasy points. 3 games ago against OKC. Now, he played 40 minutes, but he took 17 shots. You get 30 plus out of Dylan Brooks, and you feel pretty good. That salary has come down, and it's small forward. Ugly slate, but you're going to have enough to pay up for. At least that's my expectation. All of the pay-up options do kind of blend together, but I do think Giannis is the guy we're looking for most. And we'll get more value throughout the day. Let's check FanDuel and let's get out of here. I'm hungry. I want a little breakfast. Don't know what that's going to be, but I'm going to treat myself to something bad. All right. FanDuel projections. FanDuel optimal. Here we go. Hit that like button if you haven't done it yet. 170 people in the house. Great to have you guys here. FanDuel optimals. 310.34. This is the optimal by 0.39. Jalen Brunson, Jeremy Sohan, Devin Vassell, Dylan Brooks, Buddy Hield, Jimmy Butler, Pascal Siakam, Zion Williamson, and Orlando Robinson. Jimmy Butler, 98%. Sohan, 94%. Zion, Buddy Hield, Jalen Brunson in the 80s. Vassell, Brooks, Orlando Robinson, and Pascal Siakam in the 50s. If we add in our randomness and flatten these guys out, what do we see? Buddy Hield and Jeremy Sohan at the top. Goes Sohan, Hield, Schroeder, Butler, Vassell, Brunson, Siakam, Zion, Jaquez, and Portis. There we go, folks. Another one in the books. Nice to be back. Thank you guys for putting up with me. We'll be here for the rest of the week. I hope. But for now, that'll do it for today. It's good to be back. Contenders in a bit. Prize picks in a bit. We're back trying to build off that win from Friday. Strategy show with Adam. Deeper dive with Adam. You'll get all of that good content. Thanks for putting up with me, everybody. This was The Process.